Okay, so 2, 3. And we're talking about simplifying radicals. And quadratic formula. So hopefully you simplified radicals and you at least started talking about quadratic formula in Math 1. But if not, that's okay, because I'll teach you. Okay. So let's say we had the square root of 25. What is the square root of 25? 5. So we already know that because it's a perfect square. But sometimes you may have one that is not a perfect square. So let's say we wanted to find the square root of 32. You guys will want your calculators. So go ahead and grab those. Do pause this. Okay. So if we type square root of 32 in our calculator, we get a decimal. But we don't want decimals. We want to just simplify the radical. So there's a couple different ways that you can do this. You might have done it last year with a factor tree. If you did it that way and you remember it, feel free to do it that way again. But I'm going to show you a new way. So what you do is you take the square root, whatever's underneath, and you put it in this little bracket. Okay. So then what you want to do is find a prime number that goes into 32. So remember, a prime number means it's only divisible by 1 in itself. So you can always start with 2, and then your next one is 3, 5, and so on. So I'm just always going to start with 2. Does 2 go into 32? Yes. How many times? Good. So I'm going to bring the 2 out, but I still have 16 left inside. Okay, so I just divide it. So now I have 16. Does 2 go into 16? Yeah. How many times? 8. Good. So now I brought the 2 out. I still have the 8 inside. Okay. Does 2 go into 8? Yeah. How many times? Does 2 go into 4? Yeah. How many times? 2. Does 2 go into itself? Yes. 1 time. Okay. So your goal is to bring out all prime numbers and for that last little block to be a 1. Any questions? And we'll do one with more than just 2 in a second. So now, if you remember, like if we look at our 25, we can rewrite that 25 as 5 times 5, or 5 squared. And then remember, a square and a square root are inverses or opposites of each other, so they cancel out, and that's why our answer is 5. So the easy way to do that is you want to pair them up, and when you have two numbers that are the same, one of those numbers comes out. So if we look over here, this pair of 2's brings out a 2. This pair of 2 brings out a 2. And then I still have this little 2 by itself. He doesn't have a partner, so he has to stay inside. And then we simplify, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 square root of 2. And then these are super easy to check yourself. If you just type in your calculator 4 square root of 2, you get the same thing that you got when you typed in square root of 32. So that's just one way you can quickly check yourself and make sure you got it right. Questions on this one? Alright, let's do another one. Let's say we want to simplify the square root of 108. Okay, so we put 108 in a little bracket. And we start dividing. Does 2 go into 108? Yes. How many times?
54.
Good, 54. Does 2 go into 54? Yes. How many times? Good, 27. Does 2 go into 27? No. So then we have to check our next prime number, which is 3. Does 3 go into 27? Yes. How many times? 9. Good. So now we're looking at 9. Does 2 go into 9? No. Does 3? Yes. 3 times. And then 3 itself is prime. So 3 and 1. Okay. So now we want to pair them up. So here we've got a pair of 2's, so we can bring out the 2. We have a pair of 3's, so we can also bring out a 3. And then this last 3, all by itself, stays inside.
So you will bring out
One of the pairs, yep. So then 2 times 3 gives us 6 square root of 3. Questions? Alright, let's do one more. So sometimes, in what we're doing today with the quadratic formula, you're already going to have a number out front, maybe. So you might have to multiply again at the end. So let's say we had 5 square root of 180. Okay. So we have that 5 out front, but we are not going to care about him until the end. Okay, so we're just going to break down this 180 like we've been doing. So if I'm looking at 180, does 2 go into 180? Yeah. How many times? 90. Does 2 go into 90? Yeah. Good. 45 times. How about 45? Does 2 go into 45? No. Does 3? Yeah. How many times? 15. Good. How about 15? What goes into that? 3 as well. 5 times. Is 5 prime? So 5 and 1. Questions? Okay. Alright, so now we have this original 5 outside, so we have to bring it over. And then we can start pairing them up. So 2 times 2, or just kidding, 2 and 2 brings out a 2, not 2 times 2. And then we also have a pair of 3s. And then this last little 5 all by itself stays inside. So then we get 30 square root of 5. Questions? Okay, let's write the first few prime numbers, because I know these came out nicely, but sometimes you might have some bigger numbers. So we know 2, 3, and 5 because we just used those. Then you also might need 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, etc. You shouldn't need anything bigger than that. Most of the odd numbers except like 9, because 3 goes into 9, 15, but 2 is the only even prime number. Questions?